Well, we are broadcasting live from the mothership. You are tuned in and listening to Starseed Energy Radio with your host Jonah Bolt. Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in to hear the colors and see the music. Starseed Energy Radio goes live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, Spaceship Earth? Good morning. Welcome to Starseed Radio. You are tuned in, listening live, where you can always hear the colors and see the music. I'm your host, Jonah Bolt. Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2014. And what an amazing week we've had all week with just shows and guests, and everything is good. We have Ryan Matthew Dernick joining us on the show today, as well. We had the music from DJ Michael Scalar, which we've been playing all week. We had him on the show yesterday, and we're on our new time slot, 11 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. So thank you again, all the listeners out there. Lots of good articles going up. Always check out StarseedRadio.com for the latest news and updates, and also want to give a shout out to the people out there. StarseedTechnologies.com. Check it out. Shungite is going off, and lots of things happening in the news. So we'll jump right into today's top news stories with Ryan Matthew Dernick, writer and owner of BellWeatherPost.com. Ryan, thanks for coming on the show. How are you this morning?
Very well, Jonah. How you doing?
Doing good. Lots of news to talk about and cover. And we've been talking about a lot of this all week, talking about the Ebola and also about in general, the economy and what happened yesterday with the stock market. But let's jump into the Ebola stuff, because Ebola seems to be the hottest topic. What's going on with the Ebola outbreak?
Oh, well, right now what's going on with the Ebola in regards to the virus outbreak that originated from West Africa is the majority of Americans right now want flights banned out of most of Western Africa in a recent survey, and the survey was conducted by SurveyMonkey and weighted race, age, sex, education, and region to match in U.S. Census data, and found that 58% of Americans actually want the ban on incoming flights from West African countries, especially the hardest hit, which again are Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and 20% of respondents oppose the travel ban. So it's key. Do you understand the grave threat here with Ebola and the fact that we need to have a containment? And that's how you really do it. You have to isolate the individual or a group of individuals into a quarantine for up to 21 days, because symptoms actually won't really reveal themselves until midway through that time period.
Hey, Ryan, you there? We're losing you a little. And I think we lost Ryan. All right, I think we lost Ryan. So anyways, Ebola outbreak, and what the top story is to talk about, what Ryan was just speaking on, station, we'll try to get it back, is yesterday we saw all over the news on every news channel about the first confirmed person who died from Ebola, although they've had thousands more, died over in South Africa. What's going on over there? And they still have not shut down flights. Even South African countries are asking for flights to be banned, and the U.S. still has not banned flights. Now, I heard that there is only about 150 people, I believe, a day or something like that, actually flying in and out of those countries that come to America. So they were saying that there's not that many people to watch in terms of, watching 10,000 people traveling back and forth from like Europe or something every day. So they were saying in the news yesterday that they feel that it could be quite contained. There may be a second outbreak of someone in Dallas. They showed us a video yesterday of like a news van of like a second possible Ebola outbreak. And hey, Ryan is back with us. Ryan, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. That was a Dallas deputy that actually was taken in. He was undergoing testing for Ebola, and basically what's going on is that the paramedics transported the patient exhibiting the signs of Ebola, and he was one of the actual police officers that went into the building where, unfortunately, the now deceased Duncan, which was the first case that was diagnosed in the U.S., He died yesterday morning at about 7:50 a.m. And so he basically accompanied the county health officials, Zachary Thompson and Christopher Perkins, into this Dallas apartment where Duncan had been staying when he fell ill with Ebola. So as you know, it's transmitted by bodily fluids. But the thing is, he didn't touch anything. That's the other thing that they noted in the investigation so far, that he didn't come into contact with anything. But as you know, not a lot of people know, when you're in a closed space like that, and there have been bodily fluids discharged from Ebola or a very contagious virus like that is contagious through fluid, it has a short life of being airborne, especially when you have an environment that's closed air environment like an apartment building or apartment complex when you go inside like that. So that was, I think, the reason that he may have contracted it, but right now it is yet to be determined. He's still under testing and such. But the public safety is the top priority, according to the response around Texas, and it will take up to 48 hours to get all the results back until they can deem whether or not this deputy does have Ebola. So,
well, we also know, Ron, we've been talking about this, and why we're covered is because we know that this whole Ebola thing is man-made. We know that this Ebola outbreak is being watched.
But let's stress.
Yes.
Ebola is naturally occurring. When we mean man-made, there are fusion centers where they work, the CDC works and manipulates and engineers bioweapons and studies them strictly for the pure reason of studying how they can affect populations, or how they work at a cellular level, and maybe to possibly, in some of their theses, create cures for certain things, as they say. But in 1976, Ebola first emerged in Sudan and Zaire, and it was named after the Ebola River in Zaire. That's where the name Ebola comes from. So people don't realize that's where the origination. Yes, it's an African-born illness, but now it's basically being allowed to be transmitted easily.
Yes, it's been mutated and re-released back out into the public to get airborne, to get much more mutated in terms of like the how fast it can.
And the thing that the CDC actually said that it's mutating at a much faster rate now when they're testing certain samples.
And don't forget that the patent that they have. Don't forget that they took a patent out for Ebola. Well, you know, that just right there is a red flag.
Well, the thing is, what they're doing is actually when they get a new specimen or an individual that has Ebola, they will actually take that and try and patent that individual strain. So basically, they're databasing the Ebola strain, so to speak, just like they would do with any kind of disease.
And this just goes into the globalist population of what they really want. What the globalists really, really want is...
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yes, that's right. That's what they really want. They want the bodies to hit the floor. That's what the goal is.
It's all about eugenics, baby.
It's all about eugenics. Let's go ask Bates and his father about that one.
Yeah, but
we're keeping it real. We're making light of the subject because
we are.
We know that the means and the just and the intent behind it is bad. It's not for the people. People need to be aware of that these viruses and these strains and a lot of this global chaos is man-made, and the people have to stand up to it or it's going to continue.
Exactly. And in other news in regards to ISIS, supposedly they caught some ISIS jihadis at the border of Mexico and the United States. Now, the Obama administration is denying the congressman's claims that ISIS basically was apprehended at the border, and this was Congressman Representative Duncan Hunter said Tuesday that the U.S. Border Patrol told them about Islamist terror groups members slipping into the U.S. And basically another congressman claimed that last month, that the FBI was watching 40 Americans who came back to the U.S. after fighting for ISIS.
Great. Of course, again, they're just watching it. But, Ryan, hold on right there. We got to take a quick commercial break, and we'll go into more ISIS coverage when we come back. You're listening to Starseed Radio. We'll be right back. Here's some more DJ Scalar. All right, welcome back to the show. You're listening to Starseed Radio. You're listening to a little mix of DJ Michael Scalar. And now back to the news and updates with Ryan Matthew Dernick from BellwetherPost.com. So before we went to break, we were talking about ISIS, the CIA, or who knows who created it, but definitely created by some form of government, top level.
I just call them Al-Qaeda 0.0. I mean, you're having Kurds slaughtered right now in parts of Syria as they push and have dispersed. If you collectively look at how many people have been dispersed in the neighboring countries outside of Iraq and then Syria into Turkey and other surrounding parts, it's been about the better part of 1.4 million people. So there's a lot of people that actually have been dispersed, and a lot of people don't realize that as many people have been dispersed and displaced from their homes. And my thoughts and prayers go out to them, and as I'm sure yours as well. Turkey's foreign minister, in regards to Kobani, that strategic stronghold that's being it's a pivotal point in regards to implementing and furthering the campaign of ISIS if they take hold of this in Syria. Turkey's foreign minister insisted Thursday that they're not realistically for the world to expect them to go alone in launching a ground war against ISIS. Even as monitoring groups said the extremists had seized a chunk of the key battlegrounds just adjacent to the border, and they seen alongside visiting NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, Mevlut Cavusoglu said that the airstrikes cannot change the balance of power or clean the whole region of ISIS and other terrorists. Saying that there needs to be a stronger coalition on the ground, not just Turkey can do it alone. And it's taken 1.5 million people, 200,000 Syrians combined with that have been displaced through Kobani in recent days. So there's just mass slaughtering going on. There's already a many peaceful tribes of people that are being slaughtered, beheaded. Their children are being taken by ISIS. It's this grave atrocity. All they're doing is blind bombing. It's not going to really solve anything by doing airstrikes. That doesn't unfortunately work. We've seen this before, where the U.S. goes in, like we did in Desert Storm and other ones, where like we rally behind one of the sides, like, let's get behind the Kurds. We're like, yeah, fight the other side. And then like they fight the other side, then we abandon them. Just what happened in Desert Storm and other countries where we support the rebels or we support this, and then as soon as they get some momentum or they get somewhere, then we pull back and we leave them out there. So you have all these people displaced, and that's why people in so many countries in the Middle East don't trust the U.S. because they know that we've done that before. We come in, we're like, we're here to help the Shiites, and then we help them all, we build them up, and then as soon as ISIS is barreling down, what do? We let it just ride. The U.S. just sits there and watches what's happening. And you know what they want. You know what the U.S. wants, Ryan. Well, the more volatility you have, the better it is if you look at it from someone that's doing stock market and trades and such. You like volatility, so more war means more money. Oh, and just a brief note on the stock market, because we talk about how this whole system is rigged. You saw how on Tuesday the stock market plummeted 170 points. Well, you know what they want. Chaos. Exactly. They want chaos. They want the bodies to hit the floor. Now, the next day on Wednesday, what happened yesterday, the stock market made an amazing recovery. A correction. A correction, and shot back up 170 points. Almost to like the cent that it dropped the day before. So anyone out there, if you own stocks or you think the stock market is real, you're retarded, because it's rigged. It's a game. It's a game. Seriously. What are the odds of the stock market going down 170, the next day going up, back up 170 to the exact... Exactly. As George Carlin said, funny comedian, very, very brilliant guy, said, one of his last words on one of his last comedic stand-ups said, the game is rigged, and you're not part of the club. That's right. That's right. And we're talking about the Bilderberger Club and the Rothschild Club and the big clubs out there that if you ain't a member of, guess you don't get that. You don't get all that special, Lear jets and all the money and all that stuff, and you don't get the right policies, and all the people sitting around in Congress and think they're doing something for the country. Guess what? This is America. This is America. Well, it's not America. It's America. It's not. Globalist elites. It's run by the Bilderbergs. Exactly. It's run by the banks. Super PAC. Exactly. Super PAC and foreign special interest groups. That's what influences policies in the United States and other countries abroad. So if anyone thinks that we're sovereign and we're individualized, we're in a globalized society. So it's time to wake up and see what's really going on.
Absolutely, and that's why we come to the news to talk about this ISIS and Ebola, because these things are man-made. They're doing this stuff because they want to put people in fear. They want to depopularize the planet. We know this. Chemtrails, GMO. I mean, we're going to take some callers, too, in the second half of the show. So any callers out there that have any questions or stories they want to share, you can call 800-313-9443. We'll take calls in about 10 minutes or so. And, Ryan, let's jump into some other news. We got the flight screening going on in, 5 states, and, we got that going on. We got the ISIS and Turkey thing. Let's jump into, the NSA spying. What's the NSA up to? They're doing a lot of stuff, and we saw an article come out yesterday. Tell us about the NSA spying. Ryan, you there? Oh, I think we may have lost Ryan again.
Going to stymie many companies and corporations that are in tech and silicon technologies. It's going to stymie their growth because it's already put internationally a bad taste in many countries' mouths. No, China doesn't like to let Google in because they correlate it with NSA surveillance. So that being said, what is happening is a lot of people are worried about their data being used, data being tracked. I wonder why. Snowden, okay, an asylum actually over there. And so if you think about it, it's true. If you're gonna truly track your population to the point where they don't feel free, why wouldn't that affect business?
Of course, and we see this now. I mean, my Google, my Skype, my Twitter, everything is connected. I can't even log into my YouTube without going into Gmail. It's slowly. What people don't realize is slowly they're locking everything down to a system. In terms even my Facebook friends can Skype me now. I don't even know how that happened a few weeks ago. I'm great. Now everybody can reach me everywhere I go around the world. It's sometimes I don't want that. I don't want my entire 2,000 something Facebook friends to be able to call me whenever they want, all hours of the night. It's crazy what's going on, and they're tracking everything. They're tracking what you're doing, and now the whole hashtag thing. Please, as soon as the whole hashtag revolution came out, I was you gotta be dumb if you're hashtagging everything you do. I mean, all that's doing is doing the work for the NSA, where you're just basically tracking everything you're doing, who you're with, where you're at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Some of the hashtags.
But hey, it's trendy. It's trendy to see ads pop up that are directly catered to you and your life.
Of course.
Trendy.
Of course, because we made it trendy. It's cool that, let's hashtag me. Hashtag everything. Yeah, hashtag everything so they can narrow down their search to find people that are doing absolutely nothing and creating chaos to basically to do whatever they want, detain them, which is why they have FEMA camps, things like that. People don't realize it's winding up, it's building up, and when things pop, it's going to be really, really bad. And we're talking about these FEMA camps. They already have people in the FEMA camps. They're staffed already. That stuff is real. Watch the Jesse Ventura video or Alex Jones or people that have visited these FEMA camps, and there's no writing and there's no. I mean, this stuff is real, people. It's real. It's happening. You got to educate yourself, look this stuff up, and find out what's truth for you, because we're just talking about what we know is truth. You got to do your own research. Check out
Knowledge is Power.
Knowledge is power. Thank you, Ryan. And, of course, always, Ryan, thanks for coming on the show. And you can check out his site, bellwetherpost.com. We'll be taking a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Ryan, thanks again for coming on the show. We'll have you on tomorrow. Good day, brother. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Starseed Radio, where you can always hear the colors and see the music. Thank you, Ryan, again, for all the wild news and update there. And again, we cover all this wild news and updates so people could just be aware. We talk about this stuff, and we put all this news out there to be aware, because it's like a Jedi master or any type of great kung fu master. Anyone that's tuned in to the energy flows of themselves and the planet would say, you need to be aware of all of your surroundings. That's what a great master is, aware of all of their surroundings. Because if you're not, and you're one of these people that when someone goes to talk to you about Fukushima, and they're like, hey, did you hear that Fukushima is like, still radiating, and it's still, polluting, and you have those people out there that are like, oh, I don't want to hear about it, it's depressing, or I don't want to hear about that, it's lowering my vibration, I've gotten that. That's like the kind of people that, aren't really on the team. The people that are ignoring the issue, you ignore the issue, you can't do anything about it. So that doesn't help us. For all the guys and light workers and girls and everyone out there that's on the front lines like me, that's not cool. Okay? Open your mouth. Stop living in fear. All this stuff we talk about is backed up. It's documented. And at the end of the day, we've all had our own experiences with it. And that's where we're coming from, and that's where I'm talking from experience. Traveling, networking, visiting people, living life, experiencing life is why we're here. So that's why we talk about these things, to educate and be aware of these things. So if big developments happen where something, God forbid, did happen with Fukushima or whatever we're talking about, you can make it more educated, more grounded decision about what to do because you have past knowledge and info about whatever disaster, about whatever happens. So if you're not aware of things, you can't do anything about it. Very important to be aware of everything. And of course, you can check out starseedradio.com. We always have the live news feed going off. We have Ryan's news feed on there from bellwetherpost.com, as well as you can follow me on Twitter. You can check out our iTunes podcast page. We're now hitting 162 countries around the world. So we're gaining momentum. We're doing it. We need your help to do it too. You can check out our Android app we have, and Amazon, our iTunes app. Support the show any way you can. If you have any questions or comments, I'm going to be talking, just go over the news the next half an hour. So you can call 800-313-9443. I'll take some callers. Again, that number is 800-313-9443. If you have any news or updates, comments, or questions for me or about the show, give us a call. Again, it's 800-313-9443. And also, just another update, I will be leaving tomorrow night for my 5-city tour. I'm flying out to Denver, Colorado. Tomorrow night I'll be in Denver for 3 days doing a live broadcast from Denver on Monday. Then I fly to beautiful Los Angeles, LA, going out there. I'll be doing live broadcasts there all week. And then the following weekend I'll be flying to San Francisco, where we'll be doing another live broadcast the following Monday. And then from there I fly to Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be doing another live broadcast. And then from there I'm hitting home, which is beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. And we'll be doing live broadcasts while I'm in Asheville. So I'll be hitting 5 cities over the next 2 weeks, live broadcasts in all of them, and keeping it going, keep the network going, and meeting people, connecting those dots. That's what we're doing. Moving like ants. Shout out to Michael Mills and CC Calloway. Moving like ants, baby. Get that information out. So let's talk about some news and updates and stuff that I've posted on my feed. If you check out starseedradio.com. One of the articles I posted, I believe yesterday, was physicists teleport quantum state of photon to crystal over 25 kilometers away. Now, we've talked about this on the show before. There's been many scientists and studies that they have teleported stuff very small, photons or things like that. They've teleported, say, from New York to California, things like that. There's been many experiments done with quantum physics, quantum mechanics like that. So this article goes into more of the details and the type of crystals, and basically the crystals which contain photonic information after the teleportation. They got pictures of it there. Pretty interesting stuff. But basically this is going into teleporting, which we see like in Star Wars and Star Trek, things like that. Like, those things are all coming. Those things weren't just thought of and we're not going to create them. I mean, teleporting is old school in terms of the ancients knew how to do it. All the ancients knew how to teleport. You know how they did it? Their Merkaba field. If you don't know what your Merkaba is, Google it, please, all the listeners out there. Merkaba. If you are in control and know how to activate and use your Merkaba, you can travel interdimensionally, you can travel through time, you can travel through anywhere. And again, this is old information. This is not new information that I thought of or read somewhere that someone wrote a book about it or something. This is old information. All the ancients knew how to do it. They knew how to harmonize their bodies, how to harmonize, align their chakras, align their energy systems, tune into the energy fields of the planet, activate their Merkaba, and travel. So you see here scientists talk about different, indigenous people over the planet talking about where they disappeared to. We don't find any remnants of their bodies. How can 1 million Mayan disappear from the temples and we can't find them anywhere? What do you think? I mean, realistically, you have teleportation, you have the ascension process. They could have all ascended. They could have all gotten to where they were spiritually conscious enough as a community to actually raise their vibration together, or raise their Merkabas together to travel back or forward into time. So these things are possibilities, and science, somewhat proves, like little experiments like this, and talks about it. But when you go into the quantum world with quantum mechanics and quantum physics, that stuff proves what I'm saying. It's all a fabric. You could change space. Everything is everywhere at once. It's our brains. It's our senses that lock everything in place. An awesome documentary, if you haven't seen it, it's called What the Bleep, and it has 8 hours of DVD footage behind the scenes. Amazing, amazing stuff going into quantum physics, quantum mechanics, but very simply. So for all the listeners out there, if you have not seen that, check that documentary. It's called What the Bleep. You can find it on YouTube. In fact, I just watched parts of it a couple weeks ago. I came home real late one night and started watching quantum physics videos just to re-educate myself. It's a lot of information to learn. And we know here in the show we go through a lot of information this hour. We put out a lot of information, a lot of stories. So it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to digest. Take notes, write things down, look them up in your own time, and learn all this stuff for yourself. So moving on, we're going to go to another article I just posted up yesterday. This one is awesome. This one is Scientists Create Crystal which would allow us to breathe underwater. All right? Say it again. Scientists create crystal, which would allow us to breathe underwater. This is awesome. So basically what they've developed is you take a spoonful of this crystal that can absorb all the oxygen from a room. The material is able to store the gas at a much higher concentration than oxygen tanks, meaning it would be far smaller and lighter to carry and can slowly release oxygen when put under a small amount of heat. So basically what they're saying is you can take a spoonful of these crystals and breathe underwater. So they also have a couple different pictures. They have a video, some studies and stuff. So check that out. It's on the Twitter newsfeed as well. Amazing article. It goes on to say a few grains contain enough oxygen for one breath, and as the material can absorb oxygen from the water around the diver and supply the diver with it, the diver will not need to bring more than these few grains. Wow. That means, think about that. No more tanks, no more nothing. You can take these crystals, a spoonful of crystals. It doesn't say how long you can breathe underwater for. That would be my question. Like, if you take a spoonful of crystals, how long could you stay underwater? I did not see that in the article, although I'd like to know more about that. So if you do know anything about that, you can email us at the show or call the station. Also, there's some links here that goes into to Vice News, which Vice News is awesome. A shout out to the guys at Vice News. And if you are not up on Vice News, go to YouTube, type in Vice News. These guys are on the front lines. You want the real story, like whatreallyhappened.com and naturalnews.com and all these guys that are putting out real truthful news. Check out Vice News. These guys are on the front lines. They're out there. They're getting it done. So check that out. I posted this article up yesterday. So again, if you want to copy and share this article about a spoonful of crystals will help you breathe underwater, you can check out the starseedradio.com website. And the article is up there for you, as well as some videos and lots of other things up there. I put over 100 links and all different stuff to educate yourself and get used to some of the context and stuff we talk about on here in the show, Starseed Radio. So moving on to the next article, this one is titled "Huge Majority Thinks War on Drugs Has Failed," a new poll finds. And this poll was taken in Britain, where it shows over 84% saying that the decades-long campaign by law enforcement agencies and the global narcotics trade can never be won. We know this. I hear some Michael Saylor coming in, so we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we'll jump back into the war on drugs and how it's a big scam. We'll be right back. Here's some more DJ Scalar. All right, welcome back to the show. You're listening to Starseed Radio, where you can always hear the latest news and updates, hear the colors, and see the music. Check out StarseedRadio.com for our Twitter feed, live news and updates all the time. We have Bellwether Post feed as well as my feed up there on Twitter. So lots of awesome stuff. And also you can sign up for the newsletter for Starseed Radio as well. Now back on the air, we're going to take our caller. We have Francis from North Carolina. Francis, thank you for calling in. How are you?
Good day to you, and greetings to you as well. I have a comment as well as a question for you.
Sure.
For one thing, the comment in general is, for a lot of star beings that are out in this galaxy, quantum mechanics or quantum physics is an elementary practice to start off with. Similar to, generally, as far as humans are concerned, would be considered elementary school type learning to start off with. Now, I'll let that tweak the thoughts. Now, the question.
Great comment. Thank you.
Now, as for the question is, regarding the crystal structures that generally absorb oxygen to be moved to another area so someone can breathe underwater, regardless of what body of water that might be, either saline or fresh water. The question I have is that what element or elements combination is used to create that crystal structure to do that?
Okay, great question, and I have the answer for you. First, let me just also, comment back with regarding to, our true beings of who we are, and our infinite knowledge is within all of us. So absolutely, quantum mechanics and quantum physics, I think, gives the best sort of description or understanding to this energy that we're all part of. So as you well stated, it's really minuscule compared to the vast knowledge information we all contain inside of us anyways. It's just really remembering this information. I think quantum physics, quantum mechanics helps us remember and understand some of these feelings we've always felt inside our whole lives and stuff like that. So I think it's a real a good topic for a lot of the listeners that aren't used to this, or do not know the good news that we are all from the stars, and we all have come from from distant places to be here and incarnate on Earth. So great comment. Yes, absolutely right. But also, it's a great starting point for a lot of people, Francis, that are not up to par or as advanced as some of us are in terms of really knowing who we are and where we came from. So, in regards to the underwater crystals, so they've used, and I'll give you the actual molecule breakdown. It looks like they're calling it Aquaman crystal. This is what they're calling it. That's the name of it. But what they've used is BP and BP, the chemical, CO2, NO3, NH2, BDC, NO3, and 2H2O. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of elements that they have brought together that absorbs the oxygen. They're saying one spoonful could absorb enough oxygen from the entire room. So that's the actual chemical breakdown of it, or the chemicals used. They're calling it the Aquaman crystal. So what it does, it actually sucks the oxygen out of the water, even the water itself when you're underwater, in lungs of the diver, literally making him available to breathe. So it's a great article. I have it up on the site. I mean, really, really interesting stuff. And we see this type of news popping up all over, with different breakthroughs and things like that, with teleportation and things like that. So this, this type of news does not surprise me. We see even hover bikes are coming out next year. If you haven't seen those, we got hover bikes coming out. They have the hoverboards, like in Back to the Future, the skateboards that hover above the ground. Those are out. I mean, that's real technology. That's real stuff that's out there. So it's, it's exciting times we live in, not just for the purpose of why we're all here, Francis, but exciting times to see people are actually, coming through and coming up with these new inventions to really show people like we are these advanced beings that are creating these type of elements, like being able to breathe underwater. Whoever thought that would be able to happen? So it's really awesome and beautiful times, and it's really an honor for all of us to be here right now and watch this Spaceship Earth unfold as the biggest reality TV show, in the universe. So all eyes are on us, and we're just here, just doing what we can. So I appreciate the call, Francis. And North Carolina, a shout out to everyone in North Carolina. I'll be at Nashville in about 10 days. So look forward to those beautiful mountains again.
Indeed. Thanks so much.
Thank you, friends. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and thanks for your comments. And we hope to keep you informed and keep you listening. And now I'm going to jump to our next article, and this one I posted up also, I believe, yesterday on the news feed. And this one, before we went to commercial break, talked about the huge majority thinks the war on drugs has failed new poll finds. Well, in talking and doing news reports the last 4 years of the radio show here, I've discovered, and many others have discovered, a lot of this is man-made in terms of, the DEA actually sending the Fast and Furious, the whole scam that went down where they're actually sending the cartels the guns, and, CIA and this are watching and running the poppy fields in Afghanistan. I mean, you talk to the soldiers there, the soldiers will tell you themselves they're watching the poppy fields, basically. Over 90% of the world's opium, and I've read as high as 95% of the world's opium is coming from Afghanistan right now, which many believe is a main reason why we're over there, because who's the biggest consumer of pharmaceutical drugs, of Oxycontin and Vicodin and all this stuff, all the painkillers? The USA. The USA is. So, of course, the USA, where are we at? We're over in Afghanistan watching those poppy fields, because if those Taliban get those poppy fields, you know what the Taliban does to the poppy fields? They cut them down. That's right. If people didn't know that, before we went into Afghanistan, the Taliban almost eradicated all the poppy fields, destroyed them. They don't like that. They don't like drugs. They don't like alcohol. They don't do that stuff. Although I don't agree with how they live with, just the human rights in general. That one part I do agree with. I think alcohol is a horrible, horrible drug to have out in the market, for one. Alcohol is way worse than marijuana. I mean, people aren't smoking weed and going out and killing people or drunk driving on weed. I mean, you can't even compare the two. But anyways, so the war on drugs, it's a big farce. We know that. Basically what we did is we started the war on drugs so that we basically can go into these countries and control the flow of the drugs. You go to Colombia, even Costa Rica, where I'm living now, all these countries, we have special op, DEA, special op forces on the ground. And what do you think they're doing? They're monitoring the drugs. They're blowing up the drug factories that are against them or don't want to, join the flow. And we basically created a huge worldwide network of drug dealing using CIA, DEA, things like that. Now, for all the agents that are out there that are CIA agents and DEA agents and cops and police that are doing the work and their intent is good, I'm not directing or personalizing this towards you, because you guys don't have a say or control in what the higher powers do anyways. In terms of the Fast and Furious, I know that didn't come from a bunch of DEA agents sitting around one day saying, hey, let's supply the cartels with drugs and guns and we'll make money for it. No. Those orders came from the top. Those orders came from the top, and the foot soldiers and the agents that probably carried that out had no clue what was going on. They don't tell you guys. They don't tell you. They don't tell the real police what's going on. They don't tell the real agents what's going on. They have underground black ops going on with underground facilities, with reptilians, with ETs, with Greys going off. I mean, look at some of our archives. Listen to some of the interviews I've done over the years with dozens of people that know about these facilities, the MyLab facilities. I mean, there's tons of crazy stuff going on. It's just really how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. But the war on drugs, we know, a big farce. And now we see this article went up that most of the population, 84% of people, believe it's not effective. It's not going anywhere. You can't fight it. And really, it's not even about fighting it. It never will fight. Basically, just want to control everything, to control the drug flow. Now, the U.S. and CIA and everyone else involved is one of the biggest, basically, drug dealers out there, supplying the American population with their fix, with their heroin, with their Oxycontin every day. So that's the reality of the war on drugs. The war on drugs is a big farce. So check out that article. It goes into a lot of statistics, things like that, lots of numbers. I'm a number guy. I like to see the numbers, all ages, things like that. So I posted it up. Check out starseedradio.com. We have about 1 more minute left, so I'm going to go over one more article real quick. And this one is titled, How Magic Mushrooms Chemical Could Free the Mind of Depression and Addictions. Wow. Well, I totally agree with that. And I have been on that tip probably since I've been 13 or 14 when I started using magic, open up third eye and open up to higher realms of existence and things like that. So this article is awesome. And it was actually on CNN, CNN.com. Wow. That surprised me. So, really quickly, check out starseedradio.com. Check out for the latest news and updates. We got the Twitter feed up there. And, of course, a big shout-out to Shungite, the Stone of Life. Check out starseedtechnologies.com. Get yourself a piece of Shungite. Get on the healing train. It's going off. Thank you, all listeners out there. Have an amazing, blessed day. Thank you for all the listeners that called out there. We will be with you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. TGI, enjoy some more Michael Scalar.